Now we're trying to get on top of Gumayusi here, and Deftness is gonna die! Vista extends so deep, and Gumayusi just laughs at him, and this might just be the way the game ends. T1 might have just broken the game and taken it for themselves.
What's up, everyone? I'm Captain Flowers, and I want to welcome you back to the Outplay By play. Last episode, we broke down the young rookie Danny's historical play that sent shockwaves all across the LCS. This week, we're heading back over to Korea, where FAKER and the gang are battling it out for the final LCK group stage spot at Worlds. Let's take a deep dive into the action and see how T1 denied the reverse sweep and trounced Hanwha Life Esports into the play-ins with a 200 IQ bait. To kick things off, both teams played a close back and forth. With emphasis on early aggressive jungle play, it was Hanwha Life Esports who found first blood after Owner was caught with his pants down thanks to a ward placed in the river by Morgan. But just minutes later, with a brawl about to ensue in the bot lane, it's T1 who respond with kills of their own after a clutch TP from FAKER that turned the tides in a 2-for-1. Though what's important to note here is the drafts on both sides. T1 opt for a nearly identical draft in every single game of this series, the quote-unquote perfect comp, as they look to win in the mid to late game through 5v5 team fights with raw damage and strong engage, but are all squishy with the exception of Leona. Hanwha Life Esports, on the other hand, go for a more standard composition with solid engage and peel, as they look to win through a strong laning phase and priority over objectives. Counter picks were also the name of the game, like Orianna, whose agency in lane and scaling properties were the answer to FAKER's insane Azir. Morgan's pocket pick Renekton, with the help of Viego, were looking to shut down Canna's Kennen, who had been terrorizing them up until this point. And shut him down they did, at least in the early game. With Canna's constant pressure in the top lane, Hanwha Life Esports execute a gank that not even El Chapo can escape, sending Chovy, Morgan, and Willer, who work together for the kill. 12 minutes in, we get our first team fight, after Owner once again gets a little too aggressive in the enemy jungle. As Canna's teleport comes in, it all looks great for the side of T1 after Keria finds the engage onto Willer and Chovy. But take a look at Deft, who goes unseen on the other side of the wall. He hits Canna with the Chain of Corruption to instantly root him and prevent any chance of a Slicing Maelstrom follow-up. With the rest of T1 too far away, there's really nothing else they can do. Deft single-handedly wins his team the fight, as Keria is now caught in a no man's land, and the dominoes begin to fall as Hanwha Life Esports come out on top in a 3-for-2. As the game went on, it was T1 who took control of the objectives, securing both Rift Heralds, the Ocean Drake, and destroying 3 towers to the none from Hanwha Life Esports. But with the Infernal Drake around the corner, it's Hanwha Life Esports who finally respond with an answer. As both teams set up around the Dragon Pit, T1 begin chunking down the Drake. However, with no vision beyond the pit wall and a camouflaged Viego, it's Willer who comes in clutch as he struts right in for the cleanest of smite steals before both teams clash and trade 2 kills apiece. And the action doesn't stop there. Just shortly after, Keria, who's lurking in the shadows, lands Solar Flare onto Deft and Zenith Blade onto Chovy to get over the wall. Deft instantly pops Cleanse, then roots Owner with a Chain of Corruption to prevent any chance of a follow-up. Now pay attention to Chovy, who actually hits the blast cone as Keria tries to escape, catapulting him into a dead end with no chance of survival. Then, Willer, who's already extremely fed, makes quick work of Owner, who had been walking down to help the stranded support. From there, Hanwha Life Esports seem to have won the fight as they hunt down the rest of T1. Watch as they swarm Canna first, who desperately pops Slicing Maelstrom into a stopwatch as a last-ditch effort before meeting his fate. It's at this point that most teams would have conceded the fight, but FAKER is still alive. And while FAKER go brrrr.
Got Mr. 200 years on the opposite side, Gumayusi trying to make it go, but Vista gets it going, and FAKER is trying to 1v4 now, and he will be able to. He's creating the front line for Gumayusi, and he's gonna keep this fight alive.
With that fight, T1 would go on to secure Baron and Cloud Drake, as well as the Tier 2 mid turret for a 5,000 gold lead. But what happens next is a key turning point in the game. Take a look at FAKER, who's split pushing in the top lane. Hanwha Life Esports send 4 players just to kill him. Because of this, the rest of T1 are then able to secure another tier 2 turret and the mid lane inhibitor turret, which becomes pivotal just shortly after. 28 minutes into the game, as both teams set up vision and make their way towards the mid lane, take a look at the most big brain bait that T1 have to offer. Keria, FAKER, and Owner are all positioned near the topside river, and Gumayusi is very clearly alone in the mid lane. But Canna, on the other hand, has made his way into the enemy Raptor pit and goes unseen through the fog of war. Watch Gumayusi, who's the lone man standing, walk towards the bot side river to bait Hanwha Life Esports in for what looks like a free kill. Now take a look at Deft, who places a blue ward to reveal the T180 carry for Vista to engage. But pay attention to the details. Gumayusi and FAKER also follow up with a blue ward of their own so that Canna has vision and can go in for the surprise attack. Then, as Vista flashes for the engage onto Gumayusi, Deft follows up for the kill. But unbeknownst to them, they've walked right into a trap. Watch Canna, who's still hidden by the fog of war, flash over the wall for the peekaboo jump scare to delete Deft with a combo of Lightning Rush, Slicing Maelstrom, Electrical Surge for the CC, Shuriken, and some autos for the kill. From there, it's all downhill for Hanwha Life Esports as T1 begin picking them apart one by one. Gumayusi and Canna turn their sights onto Vista to make quick work of him. At the same time, Keria flashes for the engage with Zenith Blade onto Chovy, who gets eviscerated from the follow-up onslaught of both Owner and FAKER. Willer and Morgan, at this point, are really just screwed, as Morgan is left running for the hills. Willer actually puts up a valiant effort, killing off Keria as he looks for a reset, but is then swarmed by the T1 cavalry, with FAKER delivering the final blow. And so, just like that, T1 had turned the game upside down with a single bait off the backs of Canna and Gumayusi. Because they had previously destroyed the mid inhibitor turret, it was an easy strut towards the Nexus for an end to a masterclass of a victory. I'm Captain Flowers, and that's it for this week's episode of the Outplay by Play. Let me know what you think. Will T1's return to the world stage be when FAKER earns his 4th world championship? Or is the dream just a little bit too far-fetched? Don't forget to follow @LoL Esports on Twitter to keep up to date with everything League of Legends esports, and we'll catch you back here next time.